Hey everybody and welcome to a new video. This time it's not any episode. It's an Ishitani and Mori episode. And we all know what that means. To be honest, it's even intimidating making video for this because I can never give it justice, no matter how hard I try. But here it is, One Piece fan letter, directed by none other than Megumi Ishitani, one of the greatest directors in our time. She somehow continues to get better. Of course, it wouldn't be possible without Masami Mori's insane output and skill. The best duo I've spoken about numerous times before gave us a love letter to One Piece and its fans for the 25th anniversary. Without wasting time, let's get into this masterpiece. One thing that I couldn't help but praise is how Ishitani and Mori decided to not show the Straw Hats fully when they appeared, or just slightly show them. For example, when you see Luffy, you can't even see his facial features, or you only see the bottom half of his face. This is genius because this special shifts the perspective to average people in the world, so it not only creates anticipation for the end where you see the whole crew, but it puts you in the average human shoe in a vast world like One Piece, where these larger than life characters seem like legends or unreachable. It adds a whole new layer to One Piece as a series and might make us think of these unnamed characters and how they get affected. Ishitani has done similar stuff in the past with Ace in episode 1015. Another thing is symbolic emphasis on shadows contrasting with sunlight, like a line between the character's unreachable dream and the dark shadow separating them from it. Ishitani tells a story with each shot, and her storyboard continues like that throughout the episode. When the random marine sees Mihawk, for example, he sees him almost standing on a mountain beyond reach. Or when the Marine brothers were at the war, the side damage alone is enough to kill and injure them. This makes them even smaller than ants, than the ant that was Luffy compared to such power during that time. And it gives us a whole new perspective on how horrible the war is in the sense of brutality and loss. And of course, no one is on Ishitani's level with transitions, using tools like the weapons or necessary sudden transitions that are very effective in many situations previously in episode 1015 with a serious tone, but it also works for comedic scenes like in this episode. Speaking of comedy, I laughed a lot in this episode. That Chopper fan especially caught me off guard. Of course, every angle in this episode is unique, preventing any shot from being dull, but what might go under the table is Masami Mori's storyboard, because it's genuinely phenomenal. Mori storyboarded the section where Sanji vs Luffy OST starts playing as the Marine is reflecting on his experience. His storyboard had mind-blowing perspectives that are unique to see in action. I especially like the bit with Izo where you couldn't see the ground until he jumps. It creates a sense of surprise and unpredictability. I would really like to see Mori storyboarding on the TV anime for an action episode. Another thing I like about the visual identity of the episode is how the backgrounds sometimes lack detail. Like in the opening, for example. The sky is intense blue but without clouds. It's an Ishitani episode, so the use of lens flares will not be absent. She is the master of lighting. The flow of Ishitani's action storyboard in the Marine Forward War section at the beginning was overwhelmingly good, and it sells the chaos of the conflict so well. The way the characters transition in and out is genius. My favorite sections are the climax and the horror atmosphere at the war between the brothers. I personally believe that was the current peak of Ishitani as a director, but she will top even that eventually. Now let's talk about the animation. It's worth noting that Masami Mori was not only the animation director, but also the character designer. So these cute new characters are all his. Mori is not the only animation director, as we surprisingly get a name that has been absent from One Piece and Toei for a long time, Yuki Hayashi. While of course Mori supervised the majority of the episode, Hayashi supervised the meat of the action at the beginning and animated the climax of the special. For those who aren't familiar with Hayashi, he is a phenomenal animator who mainly was present on One Piece movies like Strong World and Film Gold. Also Kodai Watanabe's special episode 3D2Y, Dragon Ball Super Broly, as he animated Gogeta vs Broly. After going far from Toei, Hayashi would work for series on Studio Bones like Mob Psycho, and especially My Hero Academia. So yeah, his presence here feels very nostalgic and valuable. This is not the first time he worked with Ishitani. He did a brief cut on the Uta Halloween clip. Back to Mori, I made a whole video about him, so I won't talk too much here. The characters he designed were adorable, expressive, and full of personality, and Ishitani of course helped bring that to life. He revolutionizes his charming art style yet again here. This is for sure the biggest task he was given in his career so far. This special is amongst the most challenging to animate I've ever seen. Prime example of that is the amount of characters you see at the same time in action. It's absurd. All of Mori's students were also present helping out. Now to the key animators, yeah, everyone was basically here. Toei animators, big guest animators, Western animators. This is by far the most stacked episode in One Piece's history. But it's a bit difficult to identify who did what because Mori is a strict animation director, and since it's impossible to go through every animator since the whole damn episode is moving non-stop, I will highlight a few sequences I love. First one was very evil because giving me such quality for my favorite arc in the first few seconds of the special was overwhelming. I had to pause the episode. Vincent Chansard, Chris, Takashi Kojima, and more were responsible for this behemoth sequence with dozens of characters fighting at the same time. Vincent animated Marco vs. Kizaru, Hancock action, Mihawk, and Dofi, while Chris animated Moria, Smoker, Tashigi, Jinbei, and Luffy. Takashi Kojima rarely participates anymore ever since episode 1071, but he gave my boy Vista the sauce, Mihawk's equal. Masami Mori invited a well-known name to his storyboard, Itsuki Tsuchigami, the person responsible for Sukuna vs. Jogo episode. He animated amazing action on Mori's storyboard, and it's easily one of my favorite sections of the episode. Yuki Hayashi animated the beautiful climax of the episode and gave us fantastic character acting and action, background animation, and tons of amazing details in his sequence. The whole episode just doesn't stop moving. Some of the most delicate character acting animation. Every detail was given so much love. It's overwhelming. My initial reaction was a little bit negative when I heard this is what Ishitani will work on, and I still would have preferred if it was a major chapter adaptation because I'm a greedy and entitled One Piece fan. But I also was aware that no matter what Ishitani and Mori do, I will love it, and we are very fortunate to have them. There might be a break, but I have a feeling every staff member wants to reach heights they have never reached before. This is what makes One Piece anime staff so exceptional. This special episode will not only leave impact on people who love art, but also everyone. It could make you reflect on your relationship with your siblings, or drive you to pursue your ambition and dreams more. And that's what makes One Piece the very pinnacle of storytelling. And this had the very soul of One Piece on display. Thank you a lot for watching. Like and subscribe. See you next time with more videos to make during this break.